everyone. Welcome to Glenda's Dragons Den. This is Glenda Dawson. This is LD. We are very blessed to have you here and to have you keep sending us emails and messages and feedback on all of our shows.
And those 8x10 glossies, keep them coming.
Oh, God, dear Lord. He just threw me.
To me, send them to me. Don't send them to her.
Welcome to the last show of the year, which is always special. And we'd like to take this moment to thank Conscious Awakening Network for allowing us to be part of their network. We are under Glenda's Dragons Den, under Glenda's Magical Creations. So we're on Roku, on Amazon Fire TV, on Apple TV, and so many other places like Spotify, Google, Apple, Alexa, Pandora. Please look us up. Catch us there. We're also appearing right now on YouTube and Facebook, and so on, so on, so on. So please, thank you for staying here with us and joining us every week. We're going to have this beautiful soul today.
Oh, I'm blushing.
Not you. You're not beautiful. I don't know if you have a soul. Not sure. Anyway.
Give it back. I had one when I sat down. Give it back.
I'm kind of barbecuing it a little bit.
Yeah, that explains the smell. Give it back.
So anyway, like to welcome Moon Girl.
Hi.
How are you, honey?
Thank you for having me. I love and adore both of you very, very much. Thank you for having me on your show, and congratulations. And of course, I watch, I support and love you both. So thank you again.
Thank you. And, happy holidays, right?
Yeah.
It's a wonderful time of the year. I heard that even you guys were freezing. I heard you guys were even freezing, 70 degrees, 80 degrees?
I know, it's so cold for us, yes.
Yeah, well, we had, -0 feel like. Yes, of course.
-0?
Yes, there were days that
it always 90 to 100 degrees.
Yes,
so.
Yeah. You need to, I need to send you a parka. I know it. I'll do that.
Yeah, send her Peter Parker. He's cute.
So how are you? Tell us about you.
I'm sorry.
Tell us what you've been up to.
Really, I've been just kind of teaching classes now. That's a new thing I've been doing at University Magicus. So I'm an instructor there, and I teach divination classes. So I've been teaching some tea leaf readings and some face readings, and probably start with some bone readings next. So that's my new adventure.
Never heard of face readings.
Really? Well, Chinese face readings, yes. Well, they used to use it for doctors. They couldn't really examine women, so they couldn't touch them. So they really relied a lot on the face, and still to this day.
I don't have a Chinese face. Is it still valid for me? I've been told. So I've been told. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
And still to this day, they kind of, they also evaluate by face readings, but yeah.
Well, could you read Glenda's face?
Of course.
Oh,
cool. With Glenda.
Oh, maybe we'll do that later.
Yes, a little bit.
Surprise.
Yes.
Tell us more about you, honey.
Where can we find you at University Magica?
You just go universitymagicus.com, and it's online classes, so anyone can register. They pick the class they want. There's so many wonderful instructors there. They teach anything from vampirism to divination to seances to anything underneath the sun that you would probably get burned at the stake for back in the day. So you name it, it's there. We got you.
How do they find you under there?
You can just find all the teachers there. If you go to University Magicus, and you will see who's having a class that day or later on that week.
But if they're looking for you, What name do you teach?
You can just click on my name. It has all the names of the teachers there, and when the classes are going to come up that they're going to do.
So you're there as Sarah?
Moon Girl. It's Sarah.
Moon Girl. Okay. Well, you know, that's what I'm trying to drag out of you, but apparently. All right, so that now they know how to find you there. Good. You know, because we want people to be able to find you. We don't want them coming to us if they want you. You know, it's direct connect's always the best.
Yeah.
Right. I'm known for my obscure divinations, like the readings. So I do a lot of divination work, so readings. So I read ruins, of course, tarot, oracles, read the clouds, toothpick readings, bone readings, shell readings, different kinds of shell readings, face readings, coffee readings, and I'm sure other stuff. Other stuff, plethora of things there. And I'm also part of a ghost hunting girl group. It's called Ghost Hunters, and you can catch us on Paraflix. It's a stream like the Netflix, but for the paranormal. So a lot of paranormal investigators, because I'm also a paranormal investigator. They have like you can stream your videos on there as well. So that's another thing that I'm working on. And we have a big event, another big event coming up, I believe probably in March or April 2023. So we'll see how that goes. Can't give any details on that, but it should be a fun adventure.
Is that a public event? Can people want to go on?
Yeah, you can buy tickets when we put them out there. They can pre-order VIP tickets as well, and depending on the location, sometimes they can stay there in one of the rooms. So you know, and then they join in on our little adventure. They're part of it, or they could even participate in the seance if we choose to have one later on. And we divide them in groups, so a few people will like alternate in the group, so everybody gets a chance to, you know, hang out with all of us.
And will you post that on your social media platforms?
Yes, definitely. When that comes up, we will definitely post that.
Okay, well, this would be a good time for us to see those social media platforms. So let's see if
you can catch me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's all under Moon Girl Tarot and more. And Twitter as well. And you can catch me on Facebook on Moon Girl Mistress of the Paranormal, if anybody's interested.
Well, they wouldn't be here listening to you, Sarah. They don't come here for us, okay? If they came here for us, we wouldn't have guests. We just take up the whole half hour, an hour, hogging ourselves. So,
well, I would watch you too. You both are very entertaining.
And that's why they would come there for you. But good. Now they know how to reach you, because, you know, we when we have people on the show, these are people that we know with personally or have worked with personally, and, you know, we kind of support them because we know that they're going to do the right thing by clients, and, you know, they're not smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
So that's why, you know, we want to get that out there. And how was your year?
You know what? It went really fast. It kind of, like with a blink of an eye. I'm still kind of like in awe how fast it went, but I'm not, you know, I'm not angry about it. I'm glad it's gone. Let's use it 2023. Okay. I'm not sad about it one bit. In fact, I'm glad.
That must mean that you have things that you're looking forward to in 2023 already, so that's a good thing.
Yes, another surprises. I also do act, so fingers crossed. Definitely going to jump into that a whole lot more this coming year. With, you know, personal projects and whatnot, and hopefully get some of my my writing out there as well. Again, fingers crossed.
And where does your writing show up?
That would be a scripts.
Oh,
it would be scripts, okay. Yeah, because I'm very big supporter of indie films. So cool. I also do, you know, write and hopefully get that going for me and act in them as well. So you'll awesome. Probably, I'm going to go hard on that next year, this coming year. So I'll really throw myself more into that. That is a passion. I feel being like a medium and a paranormal investigator and doing divination work. I love it, but I've done it all my life. That's like an extension of me, but a passion is the acting and the filmmaking. That's something I really want to do.
Nice.
You know, you're facing off against almost 120 years of paranormal on this side. So when you say you've done it all your life, you know, I understand that that's been your life, but you know, people look at you and they must think, you know, you must get a lot of, oh, what are you, 20? And we know you're not. You know, we know you're more mature than that. But you know, you really, when you do this continuously, it's nice to be able to have new ventures that you can explore and get passionate about because you don't want to burn out.
Right.
No. Well, first of all, I'm already jumping down the line. I'm becoming a woman of a certain age. I'll be 38. Still, I'm pushing 40, so I'll be 38 in February. Team Aqua Pisces. So I'm not in my 20s anymore. I wish, but those days are long gone, Larry. Long gone.
But it's nice to be able to have that kind of energy and project that, you know, passion and that youthful experience and excitement and
We're talking to a lot older over here on this side of the fence. You know, you're talking to, I'm 61. So
yes, you look a good 20 years younger than that, and you know that, Miss Glenda. We've had these chats before.
But still, the energy is different. You know, you still have that young energy that you could throw, and when you get passionate about something, that energy is at a different level. So it's really nice to see that you're not sticking to just one thing, that you're going after what you're really passionate about, which is,
I know you can't keep me in a box. I love so many things. I just would not be able to just keep in my lane. There's several lanes I'm going to all over the place.
well, they try keeping me in a box, but that's only during daylight.
oh God, Lord.
I'm kind of earthy.
They're getting deeper though, honey.
Yes, I know.
Yes, okay.
I know. I hear the jackhammers.
Yes. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, since you've
been doing this all your life. How
Right.
did you get into it?
Right.
Well, born a medium, I've been seeing and feeling things in so many ways since I was a child. It was really hard for me because I was coming from a Catholic family. Being Hispanic, the majority of us are Catholic, or a few Christians here and there. And I'm in South Texas, yeehaw, 956. And so the majority of us are Catholic, okay? Or you grew up with a very, Catholic devoted religious grandmother like I did from Mexico, and so it was kind of hard to let them know what I was seeing or feeling, or when I would, they would dismiss it or get upset with me and say it's devil's work or whatever. So that was very hard, and it was scary doing it alone. And till one day when I was about 14, I went to school, and my mom and grandmother went to go put some clothes away in my room, and they finally saw this huge demonic shadow lunging at them. And my grandma, being, Mexican old school lady, she had like some holy water in her cheeky purse, that we call it. She has her candies and, her coins and everything else. They never questioned me again, but it was very scary having sleep paralysis and not having anyone, talk to or believe you. And it was really crazy because I thought for a while, I was like, wow, the luck I have. Everywhere I go, it's so bloody haunted. Jesus. Well,
that's what it is. Not everybody knows it, but.
So that's why I feel like I want to be a big beacon for those who are new to spirituality, or it doesn't matter. I mean, whether, especially the younger generation, because it's hard. It's really hard when you have no one to help you out and you have to do all this, alone, or when you have people dismissing you, which is even more hurtful. So
And just for clarity's sake, you didn't summon the demonic presence.
I did not.
Okay. No, because that's immediately where some people would jump.
Yeah.
Well, of course there's a demonic presence. She's in paranormal, and that's what these people do. They're
Right.
children of the devil. No, it doesn't work like that.
No, I am, that's another misconception that people think that if you are, spiritual, or if you are in the paranormal field, or if you're a witch of any kind, that you are summoning the devil and demons. I mean, granted, there's people who do, and, to each their own, not my business, but, it's just not the truth. Some of us, you can't help but go with what you have and what you feel, and you can only suppress it for so long instead of, we need to embrace it, and that's what we do. So obviously we're in this field, but it was really life-changing to me when I turned 12. I still remember being like a little girl, 11, like one day playing with Barbies. As soon as I turned 12, it was like a light switch. I really didn't feel like I was a child anymore. I didn't feel like I was me anymore. And we had these discussions before. And it was just a sense of remembering so many things that I just out of nowhere. And that's when the divination work came in. Like, I just picked it up really quick. It's like if I already knew how to do this. And one of my best friends, she and I would like make our own little tarot cards out of like just paper, and just like the Fool, and just like a little stick figure and whatever. And we would go to like little, very elementary, because we're children, going to like little cemeteries and little haunted places that we thought were, where we felt things, so we've been doing this for, like I said, I'm going to be 38. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. So yeah. And that's how all that turned to be.
People who are gifted that do not find a way to express that and manifest that usually wind up tethered to a bed in a psych ward, because it becomes overwhelming if you're not able to give it, the air it needs, and do the work that you were brought here to do. So, I don't know if you're aware, I'm former vice chair of resource development for the Mental Health Association in New York State. And
no, I did not.
Part of my being on that board was to kind of open the eyes to the fact that, not everyone that you want to call psychotic is necessarily psychotic.
Exactly.
So, that's always been my thing, that you've got it, as long as people are finding a positive outlet for it, you need to give it that life, because if you don't, you're going to wind up losing your mind.
Absolutely. And it's funny, because I was talking to a friend of mine earlier, like, where do you want to go to? And I'm like, I still want to go to Pennhurst, which is close by to you guys, no?
Yes.
And back in the day, they would really lock you up for any little thing. And it goes back to spiritual people. I mean, how many people who really did see things, felt things, were empathic, were psychic, were locked up in there and other places, and basically tortured because of they thought they were possessed or something, or they thought they had a mental disorder. So I'm a big advocate in mental health as well. And the missing, that's another one for me. But yeah, absolutely. It will drive you nuts, especially, again, if you don't have anybody on your side who believes you or can guide you to any of these things.
So, again, you're preaching to the choir. I personally don't feel a need to go to those places, because I know, having been not an inpatient, but a visitor to psychiatric hospitals from the time I was a toddler, what goes on there, and the abuse that goes on there. And, I'm not people that, so a lot of people that go there to see the sideshow. And, if I went there, I'd want to help those people go home. And that's not why they would want me there. So, there's really nothing for me to do there.
Yeah, it's a very sad place to go to. And I've had chances to go, but I know if I go there, I'm just going to be overdrawn with emotion. And I tend to be an emotional person, but I just don't show it. But I know I would not be able to hide it whatsoever. I'd be a hot mess, eyeliner smeared everywhere, looking like you did the walk of shame the morning after. It would be horrible. It'd be like, it'd be horrible.
Yeah, well, even in Vegas, I turned to Glenn and go check on Sarah. Because, when you're an empath, you can hide it as much as you want to, but, we've worked together. So, we know when that light's on. But great. Again, if you feel that's something you need to do, I'm sure you'll bring something there that's needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for me, my main thing is to help people go home.
Yes.
And in a facility like that, that would be disrespectful to the people running the facility at that point. And
Yeah.
I always say, if they need me, they can find me. And they do. That's why we have office hours. We do mediumship at least once a week. But that's a lot of what we do, even in mediumship. And we get people showing up here that are just looking, hey, we heard about you down the street, and we came. Can you cross us? Can you give us help? And that's an important piece of it. But again, a place like that, running it for the purposes of trying to justify the various scientific evidence.
Yeah.
That they don't want those people to leave.
Well, and it really hurts my heart because some of these were, young adults, little kids, and I have things of my own, so I know, my heart hurts for them. I would love to help off as many of them as we possibly could, especially the younger kids.
Exactly. Now, we do have a good question here for you. What can I do to get control of my abilities? This is from Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. That was a good question.
Can we reframe control, first of all?
No. She wants to know how she can manage her abilities.
Yeah.
I know how I would handle it, but how would you handle it? How do you handle it?
I did it. I'm gonna tell you how I did it. Not work for other people, but the way I did it is I really, in a sense, did the shadow arc. I really just looked within, and first of all, I acknowledged that I have these abilities. I'm not crazy, as much as people might want to say, and I took it from there, and I'm like, okay, well, you kind of test yourself, to see what that is. I would spend time in meditation, but also spend time in nature, to be honest. And I would do a lot of like soul searching. Really, that really helped me a lot. And I would really go with your intuition, go with what you're feeling. And most importantly, anyone who's like dismissing you and stuff like that, try not to let it get in your way. Try not to let it hurt you, because it can really drive you nuts. Like Larry said, it can really, detrimental for people. Everything you believe in, somebody says, no, you're wrong. That can really mess with your psyche. That's how I handle it personally.
Or you're working with the devil. That's kind of a negative presumption on the part of people that want to pass the plate too.
Right. And Lisa, before I forget, Lisa and everyone else, you can also set your hours, set your rules. You are the manager. You are the boss of this whole thing. So you can say, not right now, not today. You turn it off and just envision a light switch on and off. Or you say, okay, I'm ready to hear you on Thursdays at 7 p.m. But, the rest of the week, I'm taking vacation. So sorry, office hours are closed, basically.
But I want to add to that if you do that, it is important not to just shut it off and ignore it.
No.
You actually have to set aside time, either with someone who's a mentor, or if you feel comfortable doing it without a mentor, to hear what that person has to say, because what they have to say might be very important. And, it's part of the progression of your clairs.
Yeah. And a lot of them, they just really want acknowledgement. They're not really necessarily out there to hurt you like a bunch of people want to portray them, or poltergeists. So they want to be acknowledged because no one can see them, and then they lock eyes with you and they're like, and then you don't pay attention to them. So it's very much like, ghost. Whoopee.
Right. Like that movie.
But at any time, if what you're sensing becomes overwhelming, you have to say, "Look, I got it. Back off
Yeah.
now." And always maintain the understanding that you have free will, and free will is going to get you through whatever you're experiencing,
Exactly.
as long as you give it time down the road, when you either with a mentor, or when you can take time on your own.
Right. It's like when I mentor a lot of people, I have the mediumship psychic development classes on Thursdays. Whoever comes in that day really gets a good practice of different skills. And I'm sure that's the same thing you do also when you have your classes, because every single tool, a class, anything that you learn belongs in a toolbox. You keep putting them in there. You never know what tool you're going to need for when.
And for the record,
Okay.
this is so important that Glenda, who is a world-class, medium, whatever, who Sarah even looks up to, does that class for donations, so that no one would be excluded for inability to pay. So, that's how important it is for you to be able to learn how to manage that stuff, and find your way, and, experience it on the level that you're here to experience it on.
Right. Because, we all have clairs, we all have gifts. It just
Absolutely.
depends on whether we acknowledge them, we're allowed to acknowledge them, whether we've been able to find someone to help us understand them too. Because sometimes we're like, I've seen a lot of people go like, I hear too many things. I see too many. I see, fumes around people. That's, you're seeing your aura. You're feeling the auras, and it's like just calm down. Because they do, which I'm sure. I was very blessed, as you well know, Sarah, by me speaking to my archangels, my guides since early life, since I was an infant. And then my mother being one of the generations of gifted women, she just would tell me, shh, we don't tell anybody about this. You
Particularly Daddy.
Yes, particularly.
Yes.
Well, my father was very Christian. He was, very Christian. So I, I had to keep it quiet from him until older. Once I became older, he understood, and he acknowledged, and he actually apologized for me having to do that at that point. But we all evolve. We all evolve. So
it's also very even if it's kind of taboo, but like Latinos, whatever, whether you're Cuban, Mexican, whatever, it's in our culture. I think they're very naturally intuitive. Everyone's intuitive, I feel. Of course, you have to tap into that. Sometimes people dismiss it, but I really do think like Latinos are very intuitive, and it's really part of our culture. So whether they want to admit it or not,
with the carnivals, right? Carnivals and the Day of the Dead and all this other stuff. So
well, the closer I think you are to being indigenous, or championing the concepts of nature and other indigenous, rites of passage, I think that's part of what allows you to tap into that, because the energy comes from Gaia. Gaia amplifies it. So the more you're in touch with Earth and nature, which is generally part of Earth, the more you're going to be sensitive to that. So I think Latinos generally still being very connected and aware of the importance of their symbiotic relationship with nature, I think that kind of feeds that connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, a lot of people are gifted, but they're dismissing it, or they're like saying it's a coincidence. Like I have a prophetic dream. Oh, it was a coincidence. No, it's not a coincidence, lady snap. but they don't want to really acknowledge it, or they don't want to believe, period. But that there is a gift, right there. Those kind of things. Or I knew that was going to happen. Well, there you go. That kind of stuff.
And I keep telling those people, okay, if you get numbers, you don't have to believe. Just give them to me.
I usually try and bridge the gap with, what do you think of mother's intuition?
Yes.
Because even back in Nazi Germany, they used to have cats and they would put the kittens on a submarine. And if the cat became, upset for no apparent reason, they would presume that something was going on that sub that wasn't good for that kitten. And that's how much as they tried to deny, anything that wasn't proven scientifically or in their theory of science, they still would use things like that. So, you can always find these different connections throughout culture. It's just they don't want to give that power away. They don't know who believes that and who doesn't. So, they're not even going to talk about it, but it happened.
Mm-hmm.
So, as long as we're talking about prophetic dreams, let's talk about next year. What do you see for next year?
Oh, wow. Honestly, what I really saw was big things.
Don't lie to me, Sarah. I love it when you lie. No.
No, I saw really big things in technology. I think it's going to be a game changer, and it's going to coincide with the health as well. So really big tech stuff that I'm not going to understand whatsoever, which is fine. I'll ask the kids about it. But yeah, I think that's the big thing that sticks out to me. Big things with technology. And I felt this a while back, a few years back, and I'm still going to stick to this one. A lot of people really trying to grow their own fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and really wanting to stay home and build their own little, I guess, community in a sense. So those are the big ones that are really sticking out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, those are all very positive, I think.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, there's maybe not some great ones, but maybe those are for another day or off the air.
Okay, well, we want you to discuss
on a positive note.
We don't want the NSA banging on your door. Go, how'd you hear about that? Like they do with us. But
I'm gonna take a page from your mom and
Yeah.
Como dicen, calladita te miras más bonita.
Exactly. There are times that just smile.
And my mother would say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything. She didn't live that, but she said it.
You do what she says.
It was usually followed by dumbass, and that was kind of conflicting, but okay.
Oh, a mother's love.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You get to a point sometimes where you don't realize, and she could have been kidding around, and she just didn't know how to deliver it.
Yeah, well.
Look at Larry's face. He's like,
yeah, like what?
F-bomb in his head.
I wasn't brought up in a delivery stable. Let's put it that way. I wasn't even stable. But that's for another day.
That's it.
That's another book altogether.
That's another shh. You're gonna have to tattoo shh on my finger every time.
Oh Lord, So you were saying about reading, face reading.
Yes, I took it upon myself to do a little face reading for the beautiful Miss Glenda.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I was in there till you said the beautiful, and then I knew it didn't have anything to do with me.
The beautiful Larry as well.
Maybe he needs a little more mascara.
Yeah, you do have an astigmatism, don't you? Yeah, there you go.
Pulls out glasses.
That destroyed that delusion.
Definitely. Well, Glenda's my little counterpart here, almost. She's my person McNugget, like I call myself too. Another trait of us Latinas, we're tiny but mighty. big personality, small compact bodies.
Yeah, I got nothing to do with tiny but mighty. I just try to live in that shadow.
We have a Napoleon. We compensate for our height with big personalities and mouth.
I was going to bring up the elephant in the room till I realized it was me.
One thing I did notice about Miss Glenda's face, which I'm going to start now, is even though she is a fellow air sign, shout out to the air signs, she has an earth face. Okay, so it's kind of like squared here, a little bit wider. It's still very delicate, but it's still kind of a little bit more like this. So a blog. So, and you could have noticed this changing more. Maybe when you were younger, it was a little bit more like this. Now it's a little bit more like that. You know what I mean? Right. So we're going to consider, and also consider genetics as well, you know, but people who have this face, they tend to be somebody who has a lot of compassion for people, someone who's very reliable, someone who's stable, who is good to like help others calm themselves down, basically, kind of being like a beacon to them. This is also, you're mostly calm until maybe Larry upsets you, but mostly calm.
I never upset her.
Let me see what else I put here from
live.
You want to live. I'm gonna put my now I'm gonna
put
my glasses on now. You can become kind of rigid and stubborn. Okay, that too. So I'm gonna give you the good with the bad, and you may not be that crazy about change. Like you'll adapt, but it's maybe forced upon you. You don't really want to do it. I think that's something like you are a creature of habit, I would say. What you're more comfortable with, that's it. I mean, you'll be open, but you'd rather not. If it ain't broke, why fix it? In other words, okay. You also are sympathetic, which goes with what you do, kind. You're very modest as well. Someone with a face like this is modest. So even though you've accomplished so many things that Grandmaster Reiki, you may not be like, throwing it out there and, kind of showing it off and, trying to make people feel small about it. You may not even speak about it unless somebody asks you about it. Okay. Don't say that's not true, because I know for a fact that's true. That's true. You also like to keep your feet firmly to the ground. And the majority of the time you are very close to family or friends. Like you need that kind of connection, so you can be very close to your children. Even if you don't see them all the time, there's still that very strong connection with them. Now we're going to go with your forehead, Miss Glenda. And also, Larry, you guys have the same forehead here. So it's a little bit.
Well, we are twin flames, so maybe that's where we were connected. Third eye is third eye.
And you can also incorporate astrology with phase readings as well. So I'll go into that in a bit. But forehead, it's a little bit like over here. So what that is, you don't need like a lot of details. You can be somebody who's just get to the effing point, unless it's something really important. It has to do with like your kids or, the grandbaby or, something that really involves you. In other words, but otherwise, like, yeah, what the hell happened, basically? Like, I don't need this to that. Don't go with the long story. Just get to the gist of it. That's it. Yeah, boom. There we go. Let me see. Now, you do operate from your front zone. Both of you do, actually. So this is somebody who, like, even like profile-wise, your forehead is the one, whether it's the top, the middle, or down here, that's what you operate more with. So you guys are thinkers. Okay, so you rely, even though you're very spiritual, both of you rely heavy on your brains. You really do. And it's no coincidence because you are a Gemini and then you're the Capricorn. So, I mean, hello.
Yeah.
You're also very good at networking, and you'll continue doing really well in networking. Okay. So you do fall in the first zone. So the upper zone is a metal zone. And again, you tend to be deep thinkers. You enjoy thinking. You enjoy learning. You enjoy teaching. You also really like your personal space. I mean, of course, we are obligated to do this or that, but you'd rather be like, like, that's enough people eat today. That's enough. That's enough for one day for me. I'm good. Um, so yeah, you can even get lost in your own head. So like my grandpa would say, "Estás estudiando." So you could just like be thinking you're in your own world, you're daydreaming, you're thinking of all these scenarios and this or that, talking to your guides, and you have like a whole new world in your head where you kind of can't end up like maybe avoiding people because you're just so stuck in your own world. And it's not like on purpose, but you're like, I have my own planet here. Leave me alone, kind of thing. I have my own people, and everything else is over there, and you guys are just get away from me, kind of thing. So that's what I'm picking up for that part, at least. Now we're gonna go to your eyebrows, and I do like this because we both have this. I do my own readings too. Your eyebrows are, to me, they go down a little bit like this. You see, like towards back here. That's someone who has a lot of wisdom. That's someone who's possibly, in the spiritual sense, someone who's could have had a lot of past lives, really, who, it's like an old soul and stuff like that. So no coincidence, but people can go to you for, again, information, you teaching them, and hello, this is what you are a teacher by nature and stuff like that. We're going to go with your eyes. What I got with your eyes, very clever. Give me very clever, okay? And I also feel like you have a sense of untrusting people because even though they're big, pretty eyes, they're a little bit set back. So to me, that tells me someone who is, you'll be nice and cordial to everyone, but it could be somebody you're like, F-bomb or whatever, or hi, how are you? And then, sure, you're a medium lady, that kind of stuff. Sure, you get possessed in every adventure you go to. Sure, you channel every 5 seconds. Now, that kind of stuff. You can read people pretty well. And, yeah, you can be very weary of people, all right, and their intentions, all right? So, again, you'll be cordial and stuff, but you know who to set boundaries. So it may be very hard for you to fully trust people, besides obvious, the family and stuff like that, or friends, but maybe you'll just let them in, like, a door. You can only go to this much. This is my personal space. Versus other people too that you really do have them at a, arm's length. Okay, so just saying. Feel free to correct me if any of this doesn't resonate with you.
No, I do have boundaries. And that whole thing about trusting is because I've been burned. When I trusted, I got burned. So, but I mean, I try to give people the trust.
Yes,
I do try.
But you have like, skeptical eyes. It's just, it was going to be in your nature anyways, where you're kind of, as much as you want to trust, you also have that thing where like, I need to set boundaries.
It's a Gemini thing.
And as far as keeping people at arm's length, keep in mind that her arms are not quite as long as
they're like
no, I didn't because I knew they were never going to get all the way over here.
That's why he didn't flinch. Now we're going to talk about lines and wrinkles on the face, okay? So I want to break this down for you guys a little bit on, the before we start all that. The left side of your face is going to reveal your private innermost self, like family, friends. And then your right side is going to be like your public image, okay? So you can have things that are asymmetrical. One eye can be lower than the other, one nose can be more on this side, your chin, whatever. So we're going to keep that in mind for that as well. And it will mean a completely different thing depending on where that is. And this can also incorporate moles, wrinkles, scars, freckles, blemishes, okay? But as far as the lines in your face, the way we're going to break this down is the top part of your head, which would be like above your forehead, that is going to be like 15 to 30 the years old. So
Okay.
if you have lines up there, especially really like deep lines, there could have been something very dramatic or at least of significance in that age gap. Okay. Others, like if you have lines and stuff around your eyes, which I feel like maybe there could have been something of significance for you in your probably 30s to 40s, whether good or bad, but it could have been like a lot of important things that were, I guess you would say, mark them in your calendar, like a marriage, conceived children, became a mother, whatever it is, you went through a rough patch. But just like when you mark important days, like a birth certificate, you get married, a death, or whatever, your face will leave those marks and indent them in your face as well. So
Okay.
at that time period, that's where you might have had a lot of things happen, whether good or bad, in your 30s to 40s. Okay, so that's what I got
Mhm.
for you on that one. So
Mhm.
resonates awesome. So do you think you felt like a lot of things happened around that age gap? Those 10.
Yes. 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 That was. I had my most of my children, two of my children. I got separated, divorced, and remarried.
Wow, that was a lot, Brenda.
In 10 years. Yes. At the best time of my life.
She's been busy, all right?
Miss Glenda's been busy. You know what? I want you guys to know this. This is gonna sound so crazy, but for my ladies out there who like struggle with like fine lines and wrinkles in your face and stuff like that, keep that in mind about what I just said. But this is a thing that you're not gonna believe, and it's the truth. It really is. If you had gone through any type of type of trauma or something like that, where you have at those age gaps, if you're able to do like this shadow work and really like be authentic and be honest with yourself and kind of go through the motion and honor your feelings. I always tell people, honor your feelings. If it takes you a year, F it, honor your feelings. The craziest thing will happen. Those lines will subside without Botox, without plastic surgery, without special diet or $1 billion creams.
Right.
It actually will start diminishing because you've actually done the internal healing, which is going to reflect on your face. So isn't that crazy? Like I was like, wow, that's so,
That's
without sunblock or anything. That's
Well,
amazing.
if you think that's crazy, why don't you tell people what you mean by shadowing?
Yeah.
Not everybody knows what that means.
Well, to me, honestly, my personal view on this is to
No, lie to me, Sarah, please.
really reflect and be honest with yourself. Why are you feeling this way? Why are you coping this way? What has cost you to, like if, for instance, if you are into substance abuse, your coping mechanism is bad, overeating, whatever it is, you really have to gonna go within and be honest with yourself. And why am I acting this way? Because there's like unhealed things in your life that you suppressed and you shelved them and you kept them up and you're like, I'll go back to them when I'm ready. But tomorrow never comes, basically. So this is you really having to look within yourself and, again, honor your feelings, go through the motions, and then, yeah, heal yourself and you'll heal yourself externally as well. So
So it has
that's it.
nothing to do with summoning the Dark Lord. Well, you say shadow work, and people that
No.
don't know, they take it
Yeah, they
where
might be scared of that word. People who maybe are not, know much about the spiritual community. Yeah, they might be they might think, devil
and that's
worshiping
why I
and
just like
whatnot.
to clear it up. Instead of me putting the words in your mouth, I'd rather have you explain what it means to you. So
Okay.
thank you for that.
You're very welcome. So we're not done with Miss Glenda's face yet. Let me see. Now we're gonna go to your nose, Miss Glenda. Okay. So I don't want to get super, super personal with you, which we talked
Right.
about, but I'm just gonna a little bit of the gist of it. So what I see with your nose, the way it's pointing, and also your nostrils, the shape what that is, I feel like you try your hardest to save money, or you could have gone through a time period where it was really hard financially, especially and excuse me if I'm on the line, especially when you were like a child, mother, parents, maybe you came from very humble beginnings.
Mhm.
So that's part of the personal thing that, but yeah, very humble beginning. So
true.
maybe there was not, or you might have felt like there was not enough to go around, brothers, sisters, or parents, whatever it is. So you feel the need of trying to work hard and get, be financially stable now. Okay, or this could have been like a theme throughout your life once you got older, but the way your nostrils are, this to me shows that you're a giver. You're a very giver. So as much as you want to save, and because it's important to you to be financially stable right now, it's hard because you're such a giver. So you might give and give and give, kids, whatever, people. So the money tends to just kind of leave. It kind of leaves, and I'm sure Larry's like,
Well, I mean,
hard. He tries to save.
She's not a hoarder, she tries to do greatest good, and sometimes that means advancing people who are also going through hard times, because she knows what that's.
Yes, absolutely.
And money is basically just energy.
It comes and goes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It definitely comes and goes, and if you're able to help somebody, why not? Anything else? So you can also be someone who's very to other people, very motivational. Okay, you can inspire a lot of people, which you do. Inspire me. I love you. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff I can tell you about, like your nose, but we'll go through that
privately
on the background. We'll go down in the background. Now I want to talk about your cheeks. Okay, now your cheeks. Good things about them, but also there's a little bit of the pointiness here. So this is funny what I told you earlier, that we're like, what I tell you? We're life-size chicken McNuggets. So with you are someone who is not afraid to speak up for yourself. Tiny but mighty, especially when you're upset or you see an injustice, or something was wrong or whatever. You will speak up, but you're not somebody who just barks. You will back up, as tiny as you are, your bite. Okay? It'll be like a little vicious chihuahua.
I like the way that Paul Simon phrased it about Carrie Fisher. Don't piss off the short girl.
Yeah, so that's a big thing too. Like, you will be able to back up your words if need be. You're not someone who's going to say something and run away. You will walk the walk and talk the talk as well. So do not provoke my little chihuahua. Another thing about your cheeks, even though the point is here a little bit, there's roundness here. So whenever there's roundness in the face, this is someone who's naturally kind-hearted. Of course, we all have our, pushing point where the vicious chihuahua comes out here and there, but the majority is that you operate by heart. And anytime there's like roundness in the face, cheeks, chin, the nose, this is someone who is very kind-hearted and very open to people, to a certain extent, of course. But yeah, let me see. Oh, and your lips, they're a little bit like mine here, where our lower lip tends to stick out a little bit more than our upper lip. This, Ms. Glenda, can get our asses in trouble. Okay.
No.
Speaking of
a lot of trouble.
Speaking of barking, sometimes what we say can get us in trouble. So that's something we're gonna have to kind of watch, sort of, when we can. But it's so hard sometimes not to. And I've said this to you before. I've learned to temper my tongue, but the facial expressions, that's a virtue that I just don't think I will ever be able to overcome.
Let's say I didn't push you to play poker in Vegas.
Another thing I want to ask you about too, this to me can also mean, I want to ask, do you have or ever had digestive problems? And if you haven't, you might have them. Okay. So stomach problems, digestive problems, that could be something of significance down the line, or has already happened for you. And yeah, that's the short version of the reading. There's a whole lot more.
Well, it's good that that's the short version because we got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah. So
Seriously,
but it was great.
Thank you.
A lot of the stuff resonated.
I'm glad.
Some of the stuff I'll take under consideration.
Which means she won't admit to it on camera.
Right.
I'm not stubborn at all.
No, of course not.
I'm not a vicious chihuahua.
No, of course not. I just go after you with the knife. Anyway.
We're gonna have to jump though. It's like, because we're short.
Yeah. No, I just throw it. Anyway, I've gotten good at that.
She's
Run, Larry, run.
Bring a knife to a gunfight.
Lorena Bobbitt. Be careful, Larry.
Exactly.
What do you mean?
Well, those were garden scissors. My bad. Close enough.
Any port in a storm.
So that was really awesome. No, seriously, that was awesome. And I hope that, people call you up or find you, because
I hope people don't call her up or find her. I hope people go to the sites that we have posted that we will be posting again shortly.
Right.
I hope.
And then this way, they could reach you, contact you. So it's Moon Girl.
Moon Girl, Carol, and more on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and then Moon Girl, Mistress of the Paranormal on Facebook. Let's see how long this one lasts before it gets hacked again.
I know.
Stay off the one side, Sarah.
I've given up at this point with the Facebook, but I still engage.
And anybody who really, she's great, and not just because she's my friend, because Sarah, that if I say it's not good, I don't care if you're friends or not, I'm gonna say, but no, she is really
Why
good.
don't we just link?
And so reach out to her. Looking forward to hearing all about that when you have all the details complete about that event. And you never know, maybe you might see me around. So I'll leave him behind.
So fingers crossed. I'm hoping to maybe head out there in March. Never. We'll have lunch or something.
Yes. So before time ends, I do want to thank everyone who was here today. Lisa, please talk to Moon Girl or myself. You know where to contact us, and we'll help you out. Or anybody else that was in the chat that didn't want to speak. And I do want to say, Sarah, you are wonderful, woman.
I love you guys very much.
I love you. And next week's guest is going to be Christopher Desisari. And we are looking.
Ghost Boy!
Ghost Boy. Yes, we're looking forward to hearing all about his experiences and all about what he has coming up. He's very excited.
He's got a big year planned,
yes,
from what I hear.
Yes.
And I'm hoping he got a hold of Elon Musk and he's going to become Space Ghost.
Elon Musk is down the street from me, okay? Right at the beach.
All right. So
knock on his front door and be like, "Can I have a car, please?"
Well, we're going to say goodbye. Good night. Blessings to all. Happy New Year. And I know next year is going to be a better year for everyone.
Yes.
Really? Yes. Okay. So any of you that aren't happy with next year, You know who to talk to.
Really quick.
Bye.
Aries is going to be amazing. Capricorn, Pisces, Capricorn, Taurus are going to have an amazing next 5 months. You heard it first, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I'll be
Bye.
seeing you too in March then, because that'll be amazing.
Bye.